Hello, yes, and welcome to our Objective 4.3 sample problems where we're going to practice solving quadratic equations with the quadratic formula. Let's dive in. So looking at number 1, 8r squared plus 6r plus 5 equals 8. Got to start by subtracting 8 to get this set equal to 0. So we'll have 8r squared plus 6r minus 3, right? 5 minus 8 would be minus 3 equals 0. So this tells me that my A is 8, my B is 6, my C is negative 3, which means that x equals the opposite of 6 plus or minus the square root of 6 squared minus 4 times 8 times 3 all over 2 times 8. All right, don't forget that negative 3 in there. So I'll say x equals negative 6 plus or minus 6 squared is 36. All right, 4 times 8 is 32. 32 times 3 would be 96. So this will become plus 96 all over 16. X equals negative 6 plus or minus 36 plus 96. 30 plus 90 is 120. 6 plus 6 is 12, so 132. Divided by 16 now. 132. I can definitely take out a 4. Could I take out a 16? Let's see. 132 divided by 4. That would be 4 times 30. I believe it would be 33, wouldn't it? 4 times 30 is 120, 4 times 3 is 12, yeah. So it'll be 33. So the only thing we can really do here to simplify this would be x equals negative 6 plus or minus 2 root 33 over 16. Remember, of course, we're taking the square roots of these numbers up here. That's where we got that 2 from. And I can take a 2 out of all of these things. So that tells me that x will equal negative 3 plus or minus the square root of 33 over 8. And that would be my solutions, to this quadratic equation. Very nice. Let's look at letter B. 3a squared minus 8a equals 0. No. 3a squared minus 8a minus 1 equals 0, right? We can't have that 1 there. Got to subtract it over. So that tells me that a equals 3. B equals negative 8, C equals negative 1. So let's do it. We'll say x equals positive 8, right, the opposite of the negative, plus or minus the square root of b squared, negative 8 squared, minus 4 times a is 3 times c, negative 1, all over 2a, 2 times 3. So x equals 8 plus or minus the square root. Negative 8 squared would be 64. Negative 4 times 3 is negative 12. Negative 12 times 1 would become positive 12, wouldn't it? We multiply negative times a negative. So that means x equals 8 plus or minus 64 plus 12 would be 76. Divided by 6, 76. Oh, well, let's think about simplifying 76 here. That's divisible by 4, isn't it? That'd be square root of 4 times the square root of 19, I believe. So that means we'll get x equals 8 plus or minus 2 root 19 over 6. Again, I can take a 2 out of all those. That's pretty nice. When I do that, I get 4 plus or minus the square root of 19 over 3. Voila. Not bad at all. Not bad at all. Let's look at number 3 here. Okay, so this time we got a lot going on. We're going to need to add 4m to both sides and add 3m squared. So we'll add 3m squared, add 4m. When I do that, I would get 10m squared plus 4m minus 1 equals 0. So that means a is 10, b is 4, c is negative 1. Let's do the thing. So we'll say x equals the opposite of b, 4, plus or minus the square root of b squared, 4 squared, minus 4, times a, 10, times c, negative 1, all over 2 times a, 10. So we get x equals negative 4, plus or minus. 4 squared would be 16, of course. Now 16, all right, so we have negative 4 times 10, that's negative 40. Negative 40 times negative 1 would become positive 40. And 2 times 10 is 20. Now if we keep shifting this down here, give us some more space to work. Doing math today. Negative 4 plus or minus 16 plus 40 is 56 over 20. Now 56, again, definitely divisible by 4. That'd be what, 4 times, is that 4 times 14? I believe it is, 4 and 14, yeah. So let me show how I did that in my head here. So 4, and then I knew 10. 4 times 10 from the 1 would give me 44 times 4, 16. 40 plus 16 is indeed 56. So that means we can have the square root of 2, root 14 over 20. We can take a 2 out of all of those, so x equals negative 2 plus or minus the square root of 14 over 10. And that would be our solution. Now you might be saying, well, Mr. Carter, can't we take a 2 out of all of these now? 2, 14, 10? Yes, we can, but we can never touch anything under the radical. So we can only take out things from in front of the radical. We can never mess with what's under the radical unless we're simplifying it. Square root of 14, there's no perfect square factors there, so that means we're done. All right, last one. 4 here. Oh boy. All right, so let's see what happens here. I'm going to move all this stuff over. So I'm going to add sits squared. I'm going to subtract 5x, and I'm going to subtract 5. So when I do this, I actually end up with something quite unique. I end up with x squared plus 0x minus 36 equals 0. So my a is 1. My b is 0, my c would be negative 36. Now, if we think about this, x squared minus 36 equals 0, quadratic formula, probably not the way we'd solve this, but just for fun, let's have some fun today. So we'll say x equals the opposite of 0, aka 0, plus or minus the square root of 0 squared, 0, minus 4 times 1 times negative 36, all over 2 times 1. So that means x equals 0 plus or minus negative 4 times 1 is negative 4. Negative 4 times negative 36. Well, 4 times 30 is 20. 4 times 6 is 24. So we'd get 120 plus 24, and that is 144 all over 2. So x equals plus or minus the square root of 144 over 2. Well, 144, the square root of that is 12. So x equals plus or minus 12 over 2. And 12 over 2 is 6. That equals plus or minus 6. And those would be our 2 solutions for this quadratic equation. All right. Hopefully we're feeling pretty confident with these. That was a lot of fun. If you have more questions, feel free to ask, especially when we go over these in class. Otherwise, get started on those practice problems. Let's see how we do. This is Mr. Carter signing off. I'll see you next time.